I think one of the stories that came out of last Tuesday is that the two major elections, in fact, probably all three, including Pennsylvania, Trump really was not a factor in the sense that the Republicans really kept him at arm's length. Like Trump wouldn't care about a state Supreme Court election, so clearly he wasn't playing there. Youngkin was like paranoid about Trump showing up, right? Like they were doing everything to keep him out of the state. And New Jersey didn't seem to be competitive, so the Republican candidate there ran an explicitly never Trumper type campaign, and he is a never Trumper. So there was a bit of a if it was an experiment. Unfortunately, we don't have a control group. We don't have the full Trump state that we could point to and compare, right? All we have is a bunch of moderate states to liberal states where Republicans ran the way you run in a moderate to liberal state, which is moderately keeping Trump at arm's length. Kerry has been on this beat really, really, really hard. This idea that Republicans can't avoid that next year. Like Trump will be a factor. Do we have any sense at all? Like, what's your take on this? Like, Trump is a factor next year. Can Republicans keep their distance? Are they going to be able to? Should they? Should they not? Trump's going to loom large no matter what. Like, what's your take on that?
I agree. And one thing I want to emphasize before getting into 2022, you mentioned a few minutes ago about Louisiana and Kentucky in 2019. It's really important to remember that gubernatorial elections and elections for state office still show much more elasticity than elections for federal office. There are far more Republican governors in blue states and Democratic governors in red states than there are Democratic senators in red states and Republican senators in blue states. And so that's very important to bear in mind, that there's just more fluidity and flexibility in the way that these elections go down. And next year, we should probably see a return. There's every reason to believe we'll see a return to the normal kinds of partisan polarization that we have in federal elections. And to your point about, and Kerry's point about how will Trump loom over the race, we've already seen it even in looking back toward 2021 and even today. And what am I talking about? Well, just today, the GOP's prize recruit for the Senate in New Hampshire was Governor Chris Sununu. And McConnell had tried recruiting him desperately all year long, and Rick Scott, who's chair of the NRSC, and Sununu played this game with them for months and months and months. And now, finally, in November, he announced today that he's not going to run against Democratic Senator Maggie Hassan, who's one of the most vulnerable Democrats, up next year. And I'm speculating in part here, but I can say this for a fact. Sununu's running for re-election as governor next year. Trump's not going to care about that race. However, Trump had already said that this crazy retired general, Don Bolduc, who is already running for Senate and tried running for Senate 2 years ago, that he loves him, he's a great candidate, etc. So Sununu was almost certainly going to face Trump shitting on him next year, running against this crazy guy Bolduc. And we've seen that happen over and over again. It happened in Georgia with Trump embracing Herschel Walker. The GOP has really had a hard time getting their top recruits. And even when they have had good recruits, they're still facing primaries from less than stellar candidates. In a close race, that could make all the difference. Maggie Hassan won by like 1,000 votes in 2016. So Trump has already had an impact on 2022, and I expect it will remain large.
I mean, what was interesting about Sununu too, just really quickly, is that he didn't just say no, thank you. I'm going to stay with governor. Like he decided to like shit all over the Senate on McConnell. It was like scorched earth. It was bizarre. It was delicious. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Go ahead, Carrie. Sorry.
It was so delicious. And he said, he would rather stay governor of New Hampshire and start, and keep getting wins for the people of New Hampshire instead of slowing down, ending up on Capitol Hill and debating partisan politics without results. And I thought, debating partisan politics without results is like the perfect brand for McConnell in the Senate. Like there's no one who is better at getting no results and, debating partisan politics. He's just, to me too, it was just an epic collapse of the establishment, right? While Trump is cementing Herschel Walker for Georgia and has endorsed Sean Parnell, both of which have allegedly abusive histories for Pennsylvania. The establishment is going out and trying to recruit Chris Sununu, who was their ace. And the people who are like sane-ish Republicans are like, I don't want it.